Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you enjoy these videos, do me a favor and subscribe to our YouTube channel right here at Watchbox Reviews. I would really appreciate it, and I promise to update this channel daily. If you love this watch, you can see it and purchase it on our website, thewatchbox.com. Today we're discussing the Ressence Type 5. Launched in 2017, this is the Ressence that you can take swimming. I featured quite a few Ressence products on the channel over the last year, and very few of them have been the Type 5. This is the second, and of course if you followed my previous Ressence reviews, you know that in general these watches are 1 ATM or 10 meters water resistant. In practical terms, that's moisture, that's splashes, maybe some rain. You don't want to submerge them. The Type 5, launched in 2017, changed the game. 46 millimeters in a combination of sapphire and grade 5 titanium. This one is 100 meters water resistant with unidirectional rotating bezel, dive style, a regulator display, of course the characteristic oil temperature gauge, and a locking system for the movement itself. And that's something you need to take into consideration. When the movement is adjusted with the case back, and the case back can move the display, you need to be able to lock both bezel and caliber when you make a Ressence dive watch. So let's talk about how it fits on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist quite easily. 15.8 millimeters is thick, but it looks far thicker than that. You'd expect 17 or 18. 15.8 means you can fit this underneath a jacket cuff. Lug to lug, it's 51.5 millimeters, which is quite wearable, as that's almost identical to a Rolex Submariner once you include the solid end links. The spacing between the lugs is 24 millimeters, and the lugs are far more conventional than the loop style on a Ressence Type 1 or Type 3, which do feature spring bars, but can be somewhat difficult to dig out if you wish to strap swap. This is a lot easier. Now, the strap that's included is a Ressence piece with a combination of textile and leather and Velcro, which is to say it's a lovely piece and quite comfortable, but I'm not sure that I would submerge the leather. Go with a full Ressence textile for that. What you will note about the timepiece is that there's a collar, and that is the unidirectional rotating dive bezel. You can see just how small the actual grade 5 titanium case is. It's a thin sliver at the midpoint of the watch. So let's talk about this bezel. Of course, the watch featuring an elaborate regulator display. You can wherever the watch is currently indicating, you can line up that unidirectional rotating bezel with its luminescent pearl, and there will be a lume shot. And now you have what you have on any dive watch, a bezel that measures against a minute hand. You also have the scale for the temperature of the oil, you have regulator hours, and the runner or constant seconds. That's what's going on there. Now, of course, because a unidirectional rotating dive bezel doesn't allow you to accidentally extend your dive because it only moves in one direction, you need to make sure that the time display, which is regulated by the case back, doesn't itself extend the dive. And that's why Ressence uses something here called the Ressence Compression Lock System, the RCLS. It's a counterpart to the Ressence Orbital Convex System that allows you to lock the movement itself. So once you've set a time, you can lock the movement, and now I can't move it. So it can grind against my wrist, and of course the case back sets the watch. It has no crown, but now everything is fixed in stone, and I can adjust that dive bezel. I can watch the progress of the time that I've set, the interval that I've established, and I don't have to worry about the watch accidentally extending my dive. Of course, if I want to set it, it does require a little bit of a firm purchase. You move it to setup, and now of course you can move everything. By the way, you're looking right there at 10 o'clock in Ressence time. It is a regulator display of extraordinary character. And we may as well talk about the stock Ressence stuff. Now that we've talked about the dive and aquatic specific features, Ressence was founded back in the late 2000s, launching its first watch in 2010. The Type 1 was followed by 2013's Type 3, which included 37.5 milliliters of oil in a module that is physically separate from the mechanical caliber. This watch features that system. The Type 5 includes the 37.5 milliliters of oil, or as Ressence likes to say, about one shot of tequila, and it has the same index of refraction as the sapphire crystal, so at any angle you can easily read the time. And underwater, whereas some dive watches are invisible off-axis, this one can be read at any angle. The timepiece also features a countervailing force from inside, as the oil helps to resist the compression effects effects of the water externally. There is a bellows system, so as the oil expands with heat or contracts with cold, the bellows internally will take up the slack or act as a buffer. And there's a magnetic coupling system between the ETA 28242 base caliber, automatic winding with a 36-hour power reserve, and the Ressence Orbital Convex System, which features 142 parts and 16 individual pivot jewels. The module is constantly bathed in oil for longevity. The magnetic coupling joins it to the conventional Swiss movement inside. So you get manufacturer watchmaking in the module and a tank-tough Swiss tractor caliber in the 2824. And of course you can see there is a rotor inside the caseback, and that is the automatic winding system. You can wind manually by turning the caseback back and forth through the friction zone, and you'll feel it, and you'll know you're winding the watch manually. And then you can also set the watch by turning the caseback, and of course everything moves quite easily until you lock the Ressence compression system, and now it's fixed, set in stone, or I should say set in sapphire, oil, and titanium. Now 100 meters water resistant, wearing compact for a 46 and feather light on the wrist. This is the Ressence Type 5. See it and make it yours on the watch box. Ressence Type 5. No joke diver. See it on the watch box.